Hello, I'm Flick Poison and I create Warframe guides for players of all levels, from beginners to endgame veterans. If you want tips, builds, and farming guides, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's jump right in. So for today's video, we're going to be going over how to mod, like the basics, what to look for, and yeah. So give a little hindsight. Mods are a main way to increase your power in Warframe. They give boost stats like damage, health, ability, strength, and range. You could also go for, shield, armor, energy, sprint speed, all of that stuff. So pretty much each frame that you have. So for instance, I'm going to be using Wukong. They're all going to have different builds because their moves and move sets do different things, and there's going to be different things you want to prioritize. So for Wukong, I'm going to be building him just to showcase how to build and a build that I personally have for him. So I'll just be going over that. Now I will say I'm not like the best when it comes, to modding and whatnot, but I do have some pretty good builds, especially my Wukong. Pretty happy with this one. So yeah, let's get to it. So a little rundown. In order to build a frame, you have to have capacity. You get capacity by either upgrading using the reactors, which you can get from daily rewards. You can get them from like different currencies, like going to people and claiming them. You could also form your warframes and your weapons and all that. You can form stuff so you can get more capacity by doing a different polarization, right? Which are these. So you have Moodrai, Vazarin, Naramon, Zenruk. Then you have your Umbra mods. And you have your Any and Exilus and Auras. So your Aura mod would kind of give you like a buff. Most of them give like a buff to full team. Some of them are just for you. And so as you can see, this one right here, on status effect with weapons, squad increases personal ability strength by 25 for 6 seconds. And that's really good. All right. For this Wukong build, and also if you match it with the right polarization, it gives you better capacity. So like it'll double how much it gives you. So as you can see, like Brief Represite, which I'm going to be using for this build, if I put it on, it increases it by 7. But if I were to have it modded for any, Zenruk, sorry, it would give me 14 capacity instead of just 7. And this increases based on what rank your Warframe is. So if it's max rank, you'll have more than just the 55. As you can see here, you have the base capacity, which is just from level, and then you have half item rank or mastery rank, whichever is higher. You have your Orkin reactor, which is the ×2, which is this is what I was talking about right here. The Orkin reactor, it gives you ×2 capacity. And then you have Brief Represite, which gives me the 7, right? And so for Wukong, the things you really want to focus on is his Primal Fury, which gives him access to his exalted weapon, which is his staff. We'll get to that in a little bit. His Defy, which pretty much makes him invincible. It captures damage and then deals it back, and also gives you armor. His Cloudwalker gives you health, and then it also gives you like invulnerability, and you can like move around and stuff. And Celestial Twin literally summons another version of yourself to fight alongside you. All right. His passive, after taking fatal damage, Wukong automatically uses one of his mastered survival techniques. These techniques can only be invoked 3 times per mission. So pretty much he survives 3 times instead of dying. So we added Brief Represite, which gives us on ability cast, squad converts 150% of energies to shields while overshields are inactive. And since he doesn't have overshield, we just have regular shield, it won't be inactive, In order to give myself some more energy and health, we're going to add on Equilibrium, which, go watch my reel or short, what is it called? YouTube short, if you haven't already. I pretty much explain how good Equilibrium is and what it does. Some of these mods you'll have to grind for, like these primed ones. You have to wait for Baro Katir, which is a trader who appears every once in a while. You'll get like an in-game alert on your navigation when he appears. You get Ducats. Ducats is pretty much what like the currency you get for unwanted prime parts. You can trade those in and get Ducats instead, and use those Ducats to get anything, like ranges from Ephemeras, primed mods. You can get Cyandanas, you can get all stuff like that. They do rotate though, so don't expect always prime continuity and whatnot to be in there. But prime flow, prime continuity, and primed um, vitality are like the main three that you'd want to have, where you can, swap them out for Umbral Vitality. You could also swap them out for Archon Flow and Archon Vitality. So we're also going to add primed continuity. This adds more ability duration. You want more ability duration for his Celestial Twin to last longer, and for his Cloud Walker, his Defy gives you more time invulnerable, and this one will give you less energy drain per second. Next, we're going to add primed flow just to give us some more energy maximum. So we go from 175 energy to 499. Energy is something that you'll definitely need on a lot of builds, even with equilibrium. The more energy you have, the longer you can do moves, especially this one. Like moves that drain, you'll need more energy so that it doesn't drain as fast. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm losing 3 energy per second, if I only had 175, I'd lose it a lot faster than with 500. We're going to add on stretch. What stretch does is it gives you increased ability range, so we get plus 45 ability range. If you can also swap this out for Archon stretch. Archon stretch pretty much gives the same ability strength, but enemy abilities that deal electricity damage restore energy over time. So that's really good. I can't fully complete this build just yet because I'm missing his augments, but I'm gonna get them soon enough and be able to finish this build. I'm just going over like what you can do with builds and modding real quick. So yeah, next up we'll add catalyzing shields, which pretty much gives us shield gate, which we'll use with Cloud Walker and Defy. So shield gating pretty much makes it so whenever you lose your shield, you get invulnerability for a few seconds. And so the less shields that you have, the faster that shield gate would proc, and so you'll be invulnerable and immune to damage for a lot longer. And you could just shield gate, which is what that is. So as you see, my shield goes from 405 to only 81, but I'll be able to get invulnerability, whenever they break. So that's very good. We're going to throw on precision intensify instead of all the other intensifies, because what we were going to mainly use for damage wise is his primal fury, which gives us his exalted weapon, which is his staff. And so precision intensify gives us plus 90% ability strength. So as you can see, a little rundown on what formatting does and polarization. As you can see, this normal mod costs 11 capacity if I were to put it in a normal slot. If I were to put it in its slot, which is like its format slot, it goes from 11 to 6, which reduces the cost and gives me more capacity for other mods. If you were to put the wrong type on a different one, you see the cost, the capacity cost, increases by 3 instead of decreasing. So you'll lose capacity and whatnot, so you don't really want to do that. Another thing is, once you format your frame for one time, as you can see, it will like show you right here how many times you format them. Also, some frames come pre-formatted, like some will have like slots of where it makes it easier to mod. You can also swap polarity. So sometimes you'll have like this there and you don't really need it there because it wouldn't help you. So once you format the first time, you can just move stuff around to better your build however you need it to be. Another major thing for modding are called arcanes. Arcanes pretty much give you better stat buffs. So like, for example, I'll be using Molt Augmented, and for Molt Augmented, let's tap on it. Depending on what rank you have is how much better it is. So I have max Molt Augmented. So for me, on every kill I get for 250 kills, I get plus 24% ability strength. And that's very good considering, you're going to be killing a lot of stuff. And so every kill, you'll just keep on stacking ability strength in order to do more damage. And remember, his last ability for Wukong uses ability strength to do damage. And so the 200% really comes in handy because that's 60% plus 60% extra ability strength on top of the 90 that we have here. So that's 150. So we'd be at 250 ability strength so far. So let's add Molt Augmented. And mind you, there's like a bunch of different arcanes that you could have. They all do different things. Like this one is for headshot kills. It gives you a 75% chance for health regeneration. We have Phantasm, which is on block. You get a 45% chance for 60% speed. So yeah, arcanes are definitely things that you'll need for your builds in order to give them like more damage, more survivability, better energy, and stuff like that. And so that's kind of one of the things you want to grind towards. These aren't easy to get, I will say. Most arcanes you can get from like anywhere. So like Malt Augmented you'll get from the Zariman. A lot of these mods, arcanes that I do have here, you can get from the Vuri event called Isle Weaver, which is where you get Araxia, the newest frame. Yeah, newest frame. So yeah, this is honestly the easiest way to get a nice arrangement of arcanes is just to do Isle Weaver because they have a lot that you can just max out, and it's pretty easy to max out in my opinion. So we have added Malt Augmented for the ability strength. We're going to add Archon Strike, which gives us a plus 15% chance for 60% attack speed to melee weapons for 18 seconds. And like I said, I don't have his his augments yet. Augments are pretty much Warframe specific mods. So most frames, I'm not gonna say all because I don't know if all of them have their own yet. But so for Wukong, he'll have his own mod called Primal Rage, which is an augment for Primal Fury, which is this one right here. So that augment would specifically only mod this move right here, which makes it so that every killing an enemy increases my critical chance by 50%. All right. And then he has his other move, which is called Celestial Stomp, which is a Celestial Twin augment, which makes it so that if I hold the command, which is like the move button, I'll do a stomp instead, which does a ground slam attack, which is very nice. Now this right here, we call these Exilus mods, and these are kind of just like not any of these buffs, but they help like knockdown recovery. We have knockdown resist. We have surefooted for knockdown resist. We have like wall latch, parkour velocity, aim and glide duration and whatnot. So these are like the other things that you'll have to like stat and stuff that don't necessarily pop up here. So like if you want to go faster, if you want enemy sense, if you want more benefits from auras. So like I could throw this on, and with brief represite, as you see, we get 150%. If I were to max this out, it would give us a plus 15% of that, which, so we'd get plus 165% of energy spent instead. So, Exilus mods are very good, but we're going to add on Power Drift because it gives us knockdown resistance and it also gives us more ability strength. And if you remember, we'll be at 60 from this, 90 from this, which is 150, and then plus the 15 here would be 200 and, well, if you add on from the 100 here, it'd be 265 ability strength, which all goes towards his staff, which is his exalted weapon. Not all frames have exalted weapons. So for instance, if you go to Revenant doesn't have his own exalted weapon. But somebody like Korra would have her own exalted weapon, which is her whip claw, and she also has her, her little cat thing. So, the exalted weapons just make it so that like it's a summon weapon, or some of the frames just start with it or whatnot. And so like for example, a frame that would start with their exalted weapon would be Garuda, which is right here. So for instance, Garuda, when she has her exalted weapon, the way how you take hers out would be to get rid of your melee. And as you can see, we have her talons now. So if I were to equip a melee, her talons are gone. And if you unequip it, now you have her exalted weapon to just use as a regular melee. And you could stat these to however you want, to give more damage, or to add status effects and whatnot. So for his staff, as you can see, I started a build here for it. Yeah, you have more melee damage per status type, and it's just the same thing as your Warframe mods. You just look at attack speed, your damage, critical chance, status chance and whatnot. So modding would be in the same sense of this. And you also have your arcanes here, but there will be different arcanes, such as, there's a lot less here, but you'll have melee arcanes instead of like the Warframe arcanes, and these tailor towards melee. So like killing an enemy affected by magnetic status for a 20% chance of pulling enemies. It just gives you an extra buff and whatnot. We'll add on Blood Rush here. I have to level that up first. Okay, now to talk about how to upgrade mods. If you were to hover over, I'm not sure what it is on PC, but on Xbox or console, you would hit right trigger and it'll bring you to this page. In order to upgrade your mods, you'll need both credits and endo. Credits you can obtain by just completing missions. The fastest way to gain credits is if you were to go to something called the index. It is over on Neptune, and it's called the index right here. You can choose either low investment, medium risk, or high risk investment. Each one will give you more money based on what you get. So you'd have to pay $75,000 and you get $105,000 in return. For the medium risk, you pay $135,000, you'll get $175,000 in return, and you'll pay $200,000 for the high risk, and you get $250,000 in return. You can also add on a credit drop booster to double the amount of credits that you get at the end of the mission. And so that's the fastest way to grind for your own credits. Now, endo can be obtained through missions. It can be obtained through quests. So as you can see here, we're going to go back to navigation. If you were to do something like the Archon Hunt, some of the rewards you can get, as you can see in the uncommon, you can get 8,000 endo, which is very good. Same for Sword Tie. If you do the Sword Tie, you can get 4,000 endo as an uncommon reward. So that's like an easier, like chance-based way to get it. A set way would be through missions. You can do Necrolisk missions, like bounties from there. Those have a drop for endo as well. But the main thing that you can do is by picking up the Iton stars and the Iton statues and sculptures. And what you'll do is you would fit these Iton statues and stars, these Iton sculptures with stars. So like if I were to hover over this, I can hover over one of these and install. As you can see, you could socket one of these stars in. There's both a cyan and an amber star. I don't have any amber stars on me right now, so you'd see you'd fit an amber star there, and you could fit a cyan star there. If you were to hit at the bottom right, you see how it says Maru Bazaar. You could also go to it through navigation, but the easiest way is just to go from here. So this is like a way you can grind towards endo. You could also buy these statues from people on the marketplace. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to, do what you do. You would now talk to Maru, which is here. This is also a trading hub where you can like just hover over people and talk to them. He's trading a legendary core. That's very good. A legendary core automatically upgrades any mod. It will automatically upgrade it with no cost to you. It would just take the legendary core and it will max it out fully, which is very good. So as you can see here, you can go to extract endo from my items, and you can now set that, and look, it would give me 933 endo for just not a completed statue. If it was completed, I get like 2,000, 2,500. But yeah, so that's pretty much a basic rundown of the mods and how to mod and what to look for. Like I said, each frame is different. Not every frame will be the same build. Not every frame would need to base off of ability strength. Some would base off of like ability range more than strength. Another thing that's kind of late game, it's once you unlock your helmet section, which is here, you can do something called your Archon shards. Archon shards kind of just give you a buff, so I can pick. So let's say I were to put in an Amber Archon shard, I can pick from one of these bonuses. So casting speed, maximum energy. So this is more like an extra buff to your frame. It's not necessarily modding, but you can imbue these in them. So there's violet shards, there's crimson, there's amber, and there's azure. There's also a second version of them, which are better versions, which are called the Tau Forged. As you can see, The regular bonuses are like 150, 150, 50. This one gives 225, 225, 75. So the Tau Forged are better. And the way to obtain Archon shards is actually by doing the Archon hunt, which you would go to through navigation. It's a little hard. I recommend doing it with other players because there's a boss fight that you have to do, and it's a little tedious mission afterwards. In order to do that, you just go right here, Archon hunt, and as you can see, you'll have a different frame. This changes on each Archon hunt. That would give an extra ability strength, extra health. You have weapons that will get extra damage. And we'll just have to run these 3 missions with people. This is Steel Path missions, though, as you can see by the level, 130 to 35. So like I said, this is like mid to early game, or late game stuff. So if you're early game, don't even worry about that type of stuff. Just try and focus on, learning how your frame works, learning what the moves do, learning how you want to play. So like, if I wanted to play Primal, let's say Wukong, but I didn't want to use Primal Fury, and I only wanted to use Celestial Twin and his Defy, then I can 100% not stat towards just his last ability with Precision Intensify, and I can throw on regular Intensify, which gives me, which gives me 30 ability strength to all of my moves instead of just this one ability at the end. So like I said, that was just a little rundown on modding. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a blast.